First of all, the righteous commands that come to us through the messengers, as I mentioned, the messengers themselves have to obey it. And if they don't, then there are consequences that they would have to suffer. For instance, Jonah, he abandoned his mission. The story is in the Bible as well as in the Quran that he abandoned his mission and he didn't want to go and give the message to this other town. Um, and as we know, he was swallowed by a fish and stayed there for a while until he repented and he meditated and realized that he was wrong. But the fact that he was swallowed by a fish was a consequence of his own deed. Where God talks about, he tells his prophets that, for instance, another thing is about Jesus. Jesus says, I come to you, I say to you what God has told me. I don't speak of my own. I speak of the one who sent me. Okay? So he is constantly saying of what God is telling us. And he himself is not allowed to not give us that message, because if he disobeys God, once again, he too would have suffered a consequence. Where Prophet Muhammad, if he didn't deliver the messages as God told him to, then he too would have suffered. We have to realize that God's prophets and messengers are employed directly by God. They have to do whatever God tells them to do. As God mentions in chapter 36, no righteous man or woman, no believing man or woman has any choice but to obey God and his messenger when a command is issued. And that includes the messenger himself. Because the messenger, if he comes us, tells us to worship God alone, he himself has to be the role model of worshiping God alone. So he has to obey that first and foremost. Otherwise, there would be consequences.